Action.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Oh, gasp. I'm so excited.
You know what? I wish you had nothing to say on a lot of things. It's valuable that you're here to help me with the show, but that's exactly what you're doing. You're helping me with the show.
And Jason Duda.
The street smart fish out of water in a world he never made.
Sexsmith's my hometown. It's about 12 miles north of Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie is the big center, and there's nothing north of there.
I just read that the mayor of Winnipeg's nephew went ice fishing and caught himself a 16-pound walleye. Reporting live from the worst place in the world.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
I totally don't know what that means, but it won't.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. Bob Lutz. Jason Duda in with me today after he was in yesterday with my son Jeff. I heard it was a rollicking good show.
It was fantastic. It was one of the better shows.
Well, I hope it picked up from its beginning because...
the beginning was
we did
silky.
listen to that, and my goodness.
Silky smooth, talking a little 5A football, 6A football. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, doesn't
boy.
it get any better than that?
No, Chiefs played, Shockers played, and we're talking about Mays.
That's right.
Real bright.
Figure it out.
Real bright. Of course, I blame Jeff for most of it, but you got to be better, too.
Really?
Yeah. You got to say, Jeff, let's steer this conversation towards something else.
Well, what if I was enjoying the conversation?
Well, I don't care. We do this for the listeners.
We do. But if we're not engaged, then the listeners won't be.
Well, how can you not be engaged about the Chiefs and the Shock basketball?
And we got to them.
Probably the two most important topics that we can talk about on this show.
Yeah.
Over anything else.
Yeah.
KU, K-State.
Yeah.
Certainly Mays football.
I don't know.
Oh, really? Mays
But we had
football's in
2
that
hours.
mix.
We had 2 hours, and we got to him, and they got their due diligence for time, for content. The Chiefs and the Shockers were well taken care of on the show yesterday.
Well, good, because frankly, I clicked it off.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! All right, I'll remember that.
On the way home from Wellington, where I picked up my wife yesterday afternoon, I turned it over to something else.
Well, I'll remember
How
that.
do you feel about that?
I've done it to you many times, so it's okay.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's bothersome. What have you
Why
clicked
does it bother
over?
you? It didn't bother
Because
me.
I go to music. I know you don't go to...
Didn't bother me that you clicked over.
I know you don't go to music, so what do you go to?
Probably went to, if it was in the last couple months, I went to the fantasy football talk
On satellite radio
Yeah.
or what?
on XM.
Well, there you go. Well, you love that fantasy football.
Well, keeps me updated.
For a guy who's...
Considering it was either that or listening to you ramble on, I was like, no, I'll...
oh, now we're going to get
football.
personal.
Well, you started this out.
Now
If
we're
you
going to get
can't-
personal.
If you can't finish it,
See,
even, what's her name?
what's her name doesn't like you getting personal with
Siri.
me. She lives here.
Sorry, Siri. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that.
So what I've done in fantasy football is get to 5-4
That's good. You're behind.
after a 1-4 start.
Whoa. Good job. I'm, I believe, 6-3. Or 7-2.
You're a 6-3.
Yeah. So you're still chasing me, and I got the regular season win against you. And Jeff.
But I'm playing well. My team's doing well.
Well, we know you're doing well when you're talking about it on the radio. Because when they're not doing
what
well,
did I do here?
when they're not doing well, you never bring it up.
I think I've made a big mistake.
Did you just send me a trade offer? You did, didn't you? Oh,
No.
I can't wait. I got to get my phone out and accept
I think
this
I've made a big mistake.
right now.
I hate.
What was your
By the
big
way,
mistake?
can I say that I hate this site?
You've said that many times.
I can't figure out how to do anything.
I can't
I believe I dropped Isaiah Pacheco accidentally,
either. Uh-oh.
and I didn't mean to.
Really?
Although maybe not.
No, I don't.
I can't tell. I honestly cannot tell.
Well, is he on your bench?
No, I don't see him anywhere.
Well, where
Oh,
did he
there
go?
is. There he is.
You still got him? Because if you don't, I'm picking him up. Literally right now.
Well, no, I've still got him. I mean, I'm not an idiot.
When it comes to this, a little bit.
It could be construed that I'm an idiot.
A little bit.
But I don't think I'm an idiot. So there he goes. I just put Isaiah Pacheco on injured reserve and activated one Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, that's why. You think he's going to play this weekend?
Well, I got him on the bench for now.
Right.
But when he does start playing, I expect him to be very good.
Well, we all do.
I've been hiding McCaffrey and Pacheco. I haven't had them. And I've still won 4 in a row. That's GM of the year.
You must be playing 4 of the worst guys in the league then.
No, I beat the guy with 1 loss. Not too long ago, a couple weeks ago.
All those guys are on
Don
bye.
Harms took care of him to the point where he was texting me, trying to pay me off with Debbie cakes.
Did you take any?
No, I'm not into that.
No collusion in this league whatsoever.
No, I beat his. You know what? And there you go. You won the picks again.
No surprise, and I lost.
Congratulations!
And I lost 10 points. How good am I?
Well, you didn't lose 10.
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, you did. But you got 5 games right for 13, 21, 12, 18, 26, 29. Then you lost 10. You're down to 19.
And still won the week.
I was second with 11 points. I'm the only one who got the bonus game, but I only got one other game right.
Yeah, that's tough.
Ohio State, which you morons all picked for big
You're
points.
calling us morons, and you went 1 for 7.
Yeah, but I got the bonus pick.
And how many points you put on it?
7.
7 points, and you end up with 11. You're terrible.
Yeah, I did okay.
How'd I do on my NFL picks again?
You were 4-1.
Which game did I get wrong?
You got the Chicago Bears wrong against Arizona.
That's right.
So, yeah, you had a good week. 19 points. I had 11. Max had another poor week. Had 8 points. Jeff had 4 points is all. And the big fella, Anthony, even though he got 3 games right, that 10-pointer on Penn State left him with a minus 4 points for the week.
Worst week ever in this. That's the worst week ever. It's the worst week ever. Went in 8 years. Minus 4.
Minus 4.
The big guy's struggling.
Sorry, I knew that bonus game. I knew that bonus game was gonna. I don't know how people can buy into Penn State. It just has never made sense to me.
I know.
They're a team that has never. I mean, for 40 years, has never proven itself.
They've never won a big game that they need to. Well, I didn't want to, like I told you, I didn't want to run away with this thing.
Nah, you're going to keep it
If I'd have got that one right, I'd be like 19 points ahead.
You'd have had an unbelievable week.
I'd have probably taken tomorrow off to let you guys catch up.
You would have had an unbelievable week.
Oh, well.
As it is, you had the winning week. So
I did.
There you go. Here's what we have for you today on the show. 2:25, our guest will be Katie Galligan from Wichita State Volleyball. She is the defending American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week, and she'll join us at 2:25. Shocker Volleyball on a roll. They're winning a lot of matches. I believe they're second or third now in the American Athletic Conference. So we'll talk some volleyball. At 2:45, George Dickinson. He is in the band Hotel California, an Eagles tribute band that's going to be at the Orpheum Theater coming up Saturday night. I can't believe Jeff is missing this interview.
Yeah.
You'd think Jeff would want to delve deep and talk to George about, are you good? Do you play the Eagles the way we want to hear them? I went to, I think it was this band a few years ago, and they were good. I enjoyed the evening.
Are you going Saturday?
I don't know if I'm going or not.
Is Jeff?
Right now, I'm in a kind of reclusive state of mind.
Fair enough. I do. I live there.
Yeah. And I admire that about you.
It's good.
I normally live there, but I got to be on a lot, and it's a struggle to be on.
Is Jeff going?
I don't think so.
What?
Not that
So
I'm
he'll
aware.
travel all over the
He goes
world,
to see the real deal.
but he won't just zip downtown to go watch.
Well, I mean, if the
A tribute
Eagles were
band.
playing downtown, he'd go.
He probably wouldn't go.
Really?
It's too close. It's too close.
You've seen them at Intrust Bank Arena. I've seen them perform in Wichita 4 times.
Where?
Well, the first one was at now Coke Arena back in the day in 1978. I believe 78. May have been, no, it was 76. It was November of 76. The next time I saw them was at the old barn at the Kansas Coliseum when they played out there. And then I've seen them twice at Intrust Bank Arena.
They've been here twice?
They've been here twice. I was hoping for a third time. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
I don't think so.
Doesn't look likely.
I highly doubt it. But for your sake, I hope they do.
I'm still considering going out to Vegas.
No, you're not.
Oh, no, I am.
Oh.
Every time I read about it, it's like, I don't know that I can get to the end of my life, whenever that is, and I hope it's not for a while, and say that I bypassed this band's performance at the Sphere. It seems to be one of those things that if you're a true Eagles fan, you probably ought to see that.
Well, then you should go.
But it would be a drive, and I like driving.
Why wouldn't you fly?
I don't like flying. I like seeing the country.
Yeah, but you've seen that part of the country.
Now, I can go a different route. I can go through the southern part of Colorado, which I've done a little bit. I've seen it.
Well, yeah, you've seen it all.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, you've seen
I'm
it
just
all.
saying that because I'm been alive a long time, and I've done a lot of traveling.
Understandable.
And I can't think of any place in that part of the country that I haven't seen. So, I don't know. Maybe
then you should fly.
That's
Straight shot.
You know what I haven't done? I haven't gone up through. I haven't gone west of Denver.
Okay.
No, I don't think I have. And that might be a possibility. Although that's a mountainous drive.
It is.
And if you do it in February or March, you're asking for trouble.
You are. Why don't you bypass it and just go north, go into Canada, knock that off the bucket list, and then just drive south?
That's a good idea.
Well, kill 2 birds with one
It's
stone.
about an extra 3,000 miles, but we'll look into it.
But you said you like driving and seeing the country.
Yeah, I do.
Well, then what are you worried about? Just do
I
it.
don't have that much time.
What do you mean you don't have much time?
I don't want to leave my little doggy girl.
She'll
That's
be
why.
well taken care of.
No, I don't like it, man. I don't like not being with her.
Take
I
her
know
with
that
you.
makes me sound.
Yeah, it does. But take her with you.
Are you as close to your dogs?
Oh, I love my dogs, but I'm not as close to them as my wife. Not even. There's no.
I think your wife and I, had we met under different circumstances,
You might be married. you might
we
be
seem
married.
to have a lot. I'm not saying this to be. We seem to have a lot in common.
I know. Music, dogs. I
Other
mean, what else
thing?
do you need?
Well, those are very important.
Yeah.
We both like my wife.
Yeah, so that's good.
One of us likes you.
Which one is the question?
Yeah, it's up for debate.
Yeah. That coin flipped in the air is going to land on its side.
I would presume Dia likes you. She posts photos of you on Facebook.
What?
And calls you my better. I think once she referred to you as my better half, which
That must have been a
she
mistake.
must have been drinking.
A typo error. Well, she doesn't drink, so
Well,
maybe, yeah, something got messed up there because it's that's.
I don't know what happened, but
That's
anyway, yeah, Dia and I have quite a bit in common.
I know. Weird.
I don't know. Maybe maybe something. She likes watching television, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we just finished up Matlock. I know you like that one.
Yeah, I do like that one. I knew I would because Kathy Bates is in it.
She's good.
Well, she's unbelievable. She's so good.
She's good.
And we're going to have Mike Furchess on to talk about pop culture, and I'm going to ask him about Kathy Bates. Does she get her due? She's 76 years old.
You would never guess it in watching that show.
She's at once funny, dramatic. She wears it on her face. She's a great actress. A great actress.
Very good.
And I can't wait for the next episode. That may well be my favorite show.
It's good. It's on tonight, I think.
Thursday.
Is it on Thursdays?
Thursday nights.
It's Wednesday. Yeah. Tomorrow.
It's trending in that direction as my can't miss show.
Uh-oh. Yeah, and we were trying to get you to watch it, and you're like, yeah.
Well, I'm not going to follow your orders.
Oh, so Jeff and I bring it up, say, no, that's something you should do it. Just because we say it, you're not going to do it?
I'm shocked Jeff likes it.
Really?
To some degree, because that's not normally what he would watch.
Well, I don't really know what he watches, so I couldn't.
He doesn't watch network television. I mean, outside of Scrubs and some of those shows, I guess you could say Matlock has some comedic tendencies.
It does.
There's moments of laughter and
yeah, it does.
Lightheartedness.
It's a good show. I like the fact that it's got another little entity throughout the whole season. I'm guessing.
Well, I like the way they're playing off the Andy Griffith Matlock. She mentioned Don Knotts the other night in an episode. I love that. And, that's probably, not probably, the Andy Griffith show is my all-time favorite television show.
Well, there you have it.
Have you ever seen an episode?
Yeah, but I didn't watch it.
It was just on.
It was just on, and
Dia watched
it. I don't know. Maybe she did.
If she watches the Andy Griffith show,
Uh-oh.
I'm asking her out.
Okay, well, let me see. This could be it. This is live on the radio right now to see if my spouse is going to go out with Bob.
Well, I mean,
did you watch?
Does she watch the Andy Griffith show?
Andy Griffith show.
Now, likely her generation, she'll probably send back to you, I know about it, but I don't watch it.
Probably.
That's my guess.
I can almost guarantee that.
If she says, yeah, I've seen every episode.
That's not true.
Well, you never know.
Well, we've never watched an episode.
You never know.
Well, I don't.
She had a long life before she met you.
True. 23 years.
She may have grown up with it, as far as you know.
Well, we'll find out here.
Yeah, we will.
We'll find out. But I'm going to say that the answer is no.
Well, then you're safe. You're off the hook.
Oh, thank goodness. So worried there for almost a millisecond.
I won't ask her out. But for a minute there, I thought, this could be a dream date.
It might be. Debbie and I'll watch a game.
Well, Debbie loves watching games.
Here, I got an answer.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
When I was young, I watched some, not all the time. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's over. I'm just going to tell her.
How many episodes? I wish she was on right now. I'd like to quiz her.
She wouldn't know.
Because I could give her a quiz about the Andy Griffith show and see how she did. And I could do it just off the top of my head. What was the name of the town drunk?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Otis.
I should have guessed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, now I'm struggling to come up.
You see, you don't even know. You've forgotten already. I thought it was your favorite show.
Did Barbara Eden ever appear in the Andy Griffith show?
Yes.
You just guessed at that, didn't you?
Yeah, but I pretty much know that she did.
What series was she most famous for?
Who?
Barbara Eden.
Dallas.
No.
I'm guessing now.
I know you are, and that's okay. I Dream of Jeannie.
I was just going to say that one.
Were you?
Yeah, because it was kind of set back then, so that's where I was going.
Okay, good.
How about that?
Did Warren Beatty ever appear on the Andy Griffiths?
No, he did not.
Very good.
Thank you. Warren Beatty, best known for his acting.
Yes, very good.
Good answer.
Did Jack Nicholson ever appear on the Andy?
No, he did not.
He did.
Did he really?
Absolutely.
Just one episode?
Yes.
Man, I was on a roll there.
Did Don Rickles?
Of course, Rixie did.
Of course he did. All right, time for a break. Katie Galligan from Shocker Volleyball joins us next. Stay with us. It's Lutz, Duda, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.
We're joined on the IHOP hotline by Katie Galligan from Wichita State Volleyball. Shockers red hot. They've won 4 in a row, 6 of their last 7. They head to Rice down in Houston on Friday to meet one of the conference co-leaders in the Owls. Katie, hello, welcome.
Hello, how are you doing?
We're doing well. You're now the conference defensive player of the week from your position as a libero, your junior year with Wichita State. We talked to Chris Lamb, one of our favorites, earlier in the season, and asked him about this difficult non-conference schedule he put together and how you guys were going to survive that. And here you are coming out the other end playing really good volleyball. How much did that early season difficult schedule prepare you?
Well, people who know Chris Lamb know that he definitely puts together those tough non-con schedules. I'm a big believer in playing people who are better than you makes you better. We knew that it was going to be tough, but overall, I think that it did really help us. We played teams who had very quick offenses, very aggressive serving, very good ball control. And I think playing teams like that, we had to find options and ways to score against them. And then when it came time for conference, still facing very good competition, but we were better adapted to it. So I think that is really impacted by having a tough non-con that Lambeau put together for us.
Katie, you're from Nebraska. Can you give us a little bit of the rundown on how you got to Wichita? Was it a place that you were looking at? Just give us a little background on how you ended up getting here.
Yes, well, I played club volleyball for Nebraska Elite Volleyball, and everyone on my team was entering that time for recruiting. So I started to look at schools and reach out to schools. And it was during COVID, so it was kind of a weird time period, I would say. But it was actually Sean who reached out to me. He was one of the old assistant coaches for Wichita State. He actually reached out to me, and we set up a phone call, and that's actually the first time I talked to Lambeau. And just kind of the way he sounded over the phone, you could tell he just loved volleyball, and he had such a unique perspective on it that I really had never heard from anyone else. So just figuring out more about the school, it was a drivable distance for home, still in the Midwest, and everything kind of fell into place. So that's where I ended up.
Talking with Wichita State libero Katie Galligan. She is the reigning defensive player of the week in the American Athletic Conference. Jason mentioned you're from Nebraska. They happen to have a pretty good volleyball program up there. How much did you follow that program as a kid getting into high school? How much respect do you have for what they've been able to build in their volleyball program at the University of Nebraska?
Well, being from Nebraska, everyone around there is a Husker fan, whether it's football or volleyball is a big one as well. I remember watching the games when I was younger and just thinking it was incredible, such a fun atmosphere for sure. And then to be able to go and play there earlier on this year was really so surreal. It's something that I never thought I would do. But I just think that the program that they have created, the atmosphere, the community around it, and just around sports really in general in Nebraska is second to none. I don't think you can go many places and find it. And I just think that's something that's very unique and very cool. And I'm happy to have been able to grow up watching that and then become a part of it now today.
Kitty, was volleyball your sport as a kid? Did you play other sports? And obviously in high school you must have been very good. Was that the only sport you played, or when did you fall in love with volleyball?
Volleyball was actually the last sport I picked up. I did soccer for a really long time. I did gymnastics, kind of. I did tumbling. I did hockey, actually. I danced. Like I said, soccer was the biggest one. But then volleyball was in 6th grade. I was actually just playing with a blow-up ball in my friend's basement, and her mom said, you should just go try it. And so my mom signed me up for it, and very early on, I knew I loved it. It was an easy decision for me. I actually quit soccer the following year. It was at that point where I really enjoyed volleyball a lot, and if I wanted to go bigger with something, I needed to focus on it. So I went with just volleyball, and then I just stuck with it and loved it ever since. So I think it was really, since I first started, I really loved it. There's never any doubt in my mind that I didn't want to do it.
Katie Galligan is with us from Shocker Volleyball. So, as we said, the Shockers have been hot lately. They're on a good roll. What's led that? Well, it looks like this front line has really started to click. Tell us about some of those people.
Absolutely. I think that something that we really focus on is volleyball is a team sport. So it's not 6 individuals out there. It's one team. And I think building connections is huge. I know that some of my teammates have talked about this. Izzy is, our quarterback of our team. She's the connection between the back and the front row. And she's good about giving feedback to both us as passers and defenders and also to the front row as well. She's very open to feedback, too. I hear the hitters giving her all the time. And then I just think that our front row has done a great job of finding what's open, listening to feedback from our coaches, and then also setting up the block so that defensively we can be successful as well, which I don't think is something that people who might not be as familiar with volleyball realize how important the block can be when it comes to defending a team, especially these big hitters who are aggressive and powerful with their swings. Even just slowing it down has really helped us, and it's been something that we've been focusing on as well.
You mentioned Izzy Strand, your setter. She's in her 5th year, veteran player. Another veteran player is Morgan Stout. How do those two operate together with so much experience?
I think that they do a really good job with it. Personally, there's never a moment where I don't think that they want to win. They are so competitive, and I think that that goes a very long way. They definitely talk about what they need to work on all the time. They're very good about, if they disagree on something, talking through it and then getting past it pretty quickly. I think that, again, their competitiveness and just want to win is something that has really helped our team, and also being experienced. They have just brought a lot of insight, and I think a lot of us have followed them in that direction, which has helped us be successful this year.
And with that, obviously, you got those two who are, like you said, are kind of your leaders. I'm kind of always curious on this question is, does Coach Lamb, does he talk to you? Does he talk to the team a lot about what you think or how things are going throughout a game? And does he let you guys have a little bit of a feedback in that situation if something's working, not working, or something you guys are comfortable with?
Yeah, I definitely think he'll have his game plan, and we start with that. He spends so much time watching film and studying the teams that we play to really figure out what we should be doing. So we start with that. And, of course, sometimes it seems like it's not working, but we're communicating with him constantly. Well, also the other coaches, too, asking, hey, I don't feel like this is working. Can I adjust it here? And they'll talk to us about it. Sometimes they say, I want you to continue to try with it. We're going to see I think that just the trust between us players and the coaches is very important in those situations, to be able to give each other feedback and talk through things on what we think is working and what's not, what could be done, what needs to be adjusted.
And with that, you guys are going. You're playing Rice. You played them tough here. Lost 3-2. What do you got to do to beat them? Obviously, they're at the top of the conference. What are you looking at this weekend that you guys got to do well, and in order to get the win against these guys or ladies? I'm sorry.
It always starts with serve and pass. I think that's been one of our goals the whole season, is to control serve and pass. Also, Rice is a very good defensive team, so to keep up with them or do better than them at their own game of defense, which we just played Tulsa. Tulsa is a very good defensive team as well, and we were able to out-defend them. So I think having that same mindset from Tulsa going into it, as well as at Tulsa and against Tulsa here, I just think that we were so in control for so much of it. And I think that we just need to bring that mindset of staying in control and doing everything that we are very good at doing and being very disciplined. And I think if we do that, we have a very good chance of beating Rice. And it's a very important game. So I think that we all are very aware of that, and just executing what we do well, I think, is going to be the critical aspect of it.
Shocker libero Katie Galligan has been our guest. Shockers, again, they face Rice on Friday evening down in Houston. Rice, the co-leader of the American Athletic Conference, 10-2. Wichita State at 9-3. Katie, good luck. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Katie Galligan, Shocker volleyball. Picked that sport up and immediately said, I'm going to can soccer.
You loved that, didn't you?
I don't know if I loved it.
That just, what a feeling you got all of a sudden. Just pepped up. Look at you. You had a grin on your face. Just embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, isn't it?
For you, it's embarrassing.
I don't know why I pick out things, but
you do constantly.
It's never ending, isn't it?
No, it's not. It doesn't end. It won't end on this show today. It won't end tomorrow or Friday. It will continue forever and ever.
It's a character flaw, no question about it.
Well, at least you're consistent.
We work on it. We do the best we can in trying situations. We're going to talk with George Dickinson. He's part of the Eagles tribute band Hotel California. They are going to perform at the Orpheum Theater here in downtown Wichita coming up Saturday evening. Hello, George. How are you?
I'm good, Bob. Jason, how you guys doing?
Well, we appreciate it. We're doing well. Normally, my son Jeff is on this show as my co-host. Jason is here today in place of him. He's kind of our third guy. We have him on quite often. But Jeff is a huge Eagles fan, as am I. He's seen them more than 50 times in concert. I'm in the mid-30s, having seen them in concert. So to those of us who are devout Eagles fans, why should we come see this show at the Orpheum Theater on Saturday evening?
Because it's fun.
There you go.
That's it.
What makes
That's
it
the
fun?
Whole thing. Yeah, it's fun. Well, this group sounds great. Our folks are all Eagles fans. We are very true to this material. We are real consistent with how we sing it and play it. It's a very good show. Half of the guys in the group are under 25 and play like their hair is on fire all the time. It really is a lot of fun.
How'd you get into a tribute group? I mean, that's kind of a little different than the norm, but give us a little background on how this came about.
Well, I don't know. It's like any other band. It's you think it's there's something to it, but it's really pretty simple. As musicians, as entertainers, as artists, you're always looking for the next thing, and you're always looking for something fun, and you've always got to make a living, and you always want to work with people that you like, that you enjoy, that you connect with musically, and those things align pretty often. Well, not very often, but they aligned with this, and so it was pretty easy to do. It was not, it was not. People, they want to go, oh, it was magic, and it just, we all got together and connected and decided to elevate ourselves to this lofty position. It's not really like that at all. It's a little more pragmatic than that. You like the people you play with, you sound good when you work together, and then you just start doing it. You put it out there and see if people engage, and when they do, you continue. When they don't, you move on to the next thing.
Talking with George Dickinson. The band Hotel California is in Wichita Saturday night at the Orpheum Theater. Some tickets still available, although this one will be packed. I mean, for crying out loud, they're playing Eagles music. So back in the early 70s, I was a fan first of the Beatles, and then I really got into Three Dog Night. And then the Eagles came along with a song called Take It Easy, and it really got me. Was there that moment for you and the Eagles where the hook set in?
I actually, I'd be hard pressed to say when. I mean, I've been a music person all my life. Grew up playing music in church and grew up loving country music and listening to rock and roll, and the Beatles and Zeppelin and the Who and the Stones were big. The Eagles came, out of that West Coast country rock flavored thing. They just kept churning out hit after hit, song after song. Somewhere along the way, you realize, oh wait, these guys, they weren't just writing a clever tune every now and then. They were craftsmen. If you go back and listen to their entire catalog of material, there's pop songs, there's rock ballads, there's country rock, there's things that could be folk, and they were just good at song crafting. And it wasn't Take It Easy for me. It was probably a little bit later, but when you go back and look at the body of work, it's pretty apparent that they were craftsmen, and they've pretty much been the soundtrack to our life. And their catalog, I think, somewhere down the road, when history puts them in their place, it'll be along the lines of a Stephen Foster or a Glenn Miller. Only for those of us who like pop music.
Well, George, was music always, was that something you grew up with? Because Bob and I have this argument on the show all the time, because he grew up with music. I didn't really. Yeah. Was that something that was always with you as a kid, and you grew up and it's something that you just knew you wanted to do, or did you fall into it?
Well, it was always part of my life as actually my whole life, not just as a kid, as a young teenager, as a young adult, but I think probably my teens, when I discovered I had a feel for it, I fell in love with it, same as you. Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin, for me, I really connected to country, so it was George Jones and Merle Haggard and Roy Acuff and things like that. But somewhere along the way, figuring out that I could make a living at it, that was like, that was an aha moment. The big light bulb came on and went, oh, okay, let's do this.
Talking with George Dickinson from the band Hotel California. So I will admit I have stars in my eyes when it comes to this band, the Eagles. I'm a huge Don Henley fan. Of course, I loved the late Glenn Frey, all of them. But I especially hold Henley in very high regard because I view him as a genius, as a songwriter, as a wordsmith, and as a vocalist. Have you ever had the opportunity to talk to any of these folks in the Eagles?
Never. Not ever.
That's surprising to me in some ways. You've been doing this a while, right?
I have. No, my question is, why would they? I mean, they're that's like saying, I cover yesterday and Paul McCartney's going to give me a call. It's just, you know, it's not.
Well, let me explain
realistic.
why I asked that question, George, because I'm a journalist, and one thing I've learned in my many, many years of doing journalism, you ask a question, you may get a hell of an answer. So you roll the dice on something like that. What's to say you wouldn't have said, yeah, Don Henley called me back in 2004 and we talked for 10 minutes or something, you know?
Yeah, well, I totally understand, and I kind of feel the same way. You don't get anywhere unless you ask, unless you pursue it, unless you go after it. And but that's an honest answer. I don't know why someone like Don Henley or Glenn Fry would. It doesn't make any sense. They don't need to communicate with us. They don't need to talk to me. I'm honored to be able to play their material, but that doesn't affect them or really contribute to their life. We've all played their material. If you grew up playing piano or guitar or singing in clubs or hockey tonks, you've played a bunch of Eagles songs. So that doesn't really set us apart for them.
What's your favorite Eagles tune to perform?
It varies. It varies from day to day, from my mood. Hotel California is always fun because it's such a musically rich song. But like I said, I tend to lean a little bit more toward the country stuff. I still like playing things like Tequila Sunrise and Best of My Love. I mean, we tweak those a little bit. We don't just play them the way the records are. We add pedal steel. We add other instrumentation in there that give it a little bit of a unique flavor compared to what the actual recordings are. So, I still like playing some of the Joe Walsh and Don Henley and Glenn Fry solo stuff because it's a little bit, it colors outside the lines, so to speak, compared to the Eagles catalog.
All right, well, we look forward to the show coming up Saturday night at the Orpheum Theater. Eagles tribute band Hotel California, one of its members, George Dickinson, kind enough to spend some moments with us. George, thank you. We look forward to seeing you here in Wichita.
Well, thanks a lot for your time, and it'll be a great pleasure to be in Wichita again. You guys have a great afternoon.
All right, we appreciate it. There you go, little Eagles banter.
Yep, that's the Eagles banter, right there.
There it is. All right,
I'm curious. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but what do bands like the Eagles think of people that just play their cover?
Probably don't like it, but
that's what I was thinking.
I don't know. I can't speak for the Eagles.
No, I know
don't
you
know
can't.
if
I mean, you would, but I know
they
you're not
may
going
enjoy
to.
it. I don't know. Given Don Henley's prickly nature, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
And given my prickly nature,
nobody knows.
I don't want to answer the question.
I know. Don't get mad at me.
I'm like George. He didn't want to answer that question I asked him. And now I don't want to answer your question.
You got to calm down a little bit because I'm not the one that did any of this. All right? I did nothing. Don't be mad at me because he didn't say exactly what you wanted him to say.
Well, I mean, he made it sound like, what a dumb question. Of course Don Henley hasn't called me.
He did.
But who knows?
Maybe he had.
Some of the best answers you ever get are from what the interviewee would interpret as a bad question, right?
It's never a bad question.
No, I mean, you ask questions, George. No offense to you, but if you feel somebody pelting you from the audience Saturday, it's going to be me.
You're going now just to throw stuff.
Of course I wouldn't do that.
You'd think about it.
We'll take a break and come back. Hour number 2, straight ahead on The Bob and Jeff Show.
Please hang on. Please. This is an official interruption of your local entertainment transmission.
In one moment, a gift most humans never receive in a lifetime.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Now, I'm a very deep person. It's very hard to get to the bottom of who I am.
I know what you mean.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
Talk about being out on a limb. Come on, man.
Really?
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Stand by for action.
All right, we are back. We're going to get with our friend Mike Furchess here shortly to talk some pop culture. Jason Duda in today. I think we're both a little tired for whatever reason.
I am.
Didn't sleep the whole lot last night. What about you?
Not too bad. I mean, not a lot.
But your issue is you get up really early.
Yeah, I was up at 3:30, and I've been on the go until right now.
Hey, but just
I haven't had a chance to sit in the couch today.
Well, what about that?
Well, that's this chair makes me even more tired. This is part of the problem. I'm glad Mike's here, so I can have a nap and you guys can chat.
A pretty comfortable chair.
It's not bad. It's hard to get out of though.
Yeah, it's a little hard to get out of.
Some issues there.
Well, we'll do what we can to help you.
I would hope so.
Here's Mike Furchess joining us as we talk pop culture, as we almost always do on a Wednesday. Mike, welcome.
Hey, it's good to hear you, Bob. It's great to hear that interview. I'm here you're so excited about going to the show this weekend. So, I've actually seen some tribute bands that are really very good, and I've heard these guys are actually pretty good. So it could be.
Yeah, I think they are good. I saw them a few years ago, and I enjoyed the show. But the guy told me I asked a dumb question, so I don't know. We'll see if I can get past it.
Yeah, and then of course the interview was cut short because you don't do that to Mr. Robert.
No, well, there's that snooze button or cough button. You can always put someone on delay and just cut out about everything. So
yeah,
you don't go putting Bob
all right,
down.
We have reached the week
maybe, but not.
Of the return of Yellowstone. Its final half season begins, I believe, Sunday evening on the Paramount Network. No Kevin Costner, I believe. Is that right, Mike? Is that your understanding?
Well,
except maybe in some flashbacks?
Yeah, some of the trailers I've seen, he's been in there, but it's hard to tell from the trailers if it's flashback or if it's, a part of the show itself. So I guess we'll just have to wait till Sunday to find out, but it will be the conclusion of a great show, at least in my opinion.
Chances we're disappointed in this final half season. What do you think they are? Any chance?
Oh, there's how many times have we been disappointed, whether it's Dexter or who knows what, There's always, it seems like, some level of major disappointment to a great show. And unfortunately, sometimes those things, Game of Thrones, it ruined the whole series. The ending of Game of Thrones, to me, ruined the whole series. And so I'm hoping that's...
Yeah, it wasn't... I was disappointed, too, in that.
Yeah. See, there we did get Jason in here on some pop culture, so... I'm hoping that's not the case with Yellowstone, because it's been such a good show and some really memorable characters. And Taylor Sheridan's just he's something else. So, I hate to sit in, but it will end this season.
Do you think is that why some of these actors, when they know they've had a good show, they don't want to do another season? They get to the point where no, this has just been so good that I don't want to do another one in case it's bad.
Well, I think for some it's certainly the case. There's only like 3 shows that ended ranked number 1. Everything else is always doing poor in the ratings, but there's only been 3 shows that ever ended and closed their seasons, or not just their seasons, their series, rated number 1. And you guys have talked about one of them today, or one of the 3.
Andy Griffith.
The Andy Griffith Show. Yeah. Its final episode was ranked number 1. So, how many shows do we see though now that they've been great seasons, great series, but then like Bob said, they end, and it's just like I watched 7 years for that. One of the reasons I loved Longmire, the TV show Longmire, is because they ended that so well. It's one of the best ended series of all time, and it's something you remember the beginning.
It's one of the best series of all time. I thoroughly enjoyed Longmire from start to finish. Every episode was fantastic. Did
What
you
was
see
long?
it?
No. What's that one about? When was it on?
Western.
A Western?
It's a contemporary Western about a sheriff. I mean, it's good. It's great. Fantastic.
It's supposedly, I think it takes
Mike
place
Furch
in
is with
Wyoming
us.
or
So we've
Montana.
got Mike, one of the buzzworthy movies called Conclave that's coming out. I think that most people expect it to be heavily decorated for Academy Award nominations. It's got an incredible premise. It stars an unbelievable cast. How excited are you about seeing this movie?
Well, I saw it pre-release. I got to see it before it was released in theaters.
Well, aren't you?
Big wheel in it. Attaboy.
Well, used to they would fly me out on junkets in the past. They don't do junkets anymore now. They were really a blast. It's every bit as good as the reviews say it is. It has. Some people will appreciate this, some will not. It has the best epiphany moment in a movie since The Crying Game. If you ever saw The Crying Game, there's a scene in that movie and you go, oh my gosh, The Sixth Sense has one like that. But this has, the ending of this shocks everyone. And I mean, how many great actors from Stanley Tucci that, just I could just keep naming names. And I'm thinking probably 7 or 8 Oscar nominations for this movie. It's that good. It's a drama, Bob. It's not. You remember used to we'd have stories that they were stories. And I know that you and I have talked about how much we like those kind of movies. This is very much like that, and it's kind of like a religious, political espionage story, and looks into how the Catholic Church chooses a pope. That's the conclave concept. But it is entertaining, and again, I'm thinking 6 or 7 nominations. And for me right now, it is the forerunner. It is the movie to beat for Best Picture of the Year so far. So it's that good. But I'm also hearing great things about Here with Tom Hanks. I had a buddy that listens to the show that contacted me today and asked me if I'd seen it, and he was telling me about it. And I've checked out some reviews, and we'll see that probably tonight or tomorrow. And it's getting some really great reviews as well.
Is there anything out right now? Any other good movies? It was funny because my wife and I were trying to find something we wanted to watch. We couldn't really find anything the last few days. Is there something out there that I'm missing that I could watch movie-wise or even just TV-wise?
My recommendation right now, because you're kind of a family guy, that's the impression you give me. And The Wild Robot, it's animated, but it's extremely good. It's one of those movies that the parents will love watching it with their kids. It's got a great story, and it has some adult themes in it as well. And so I would recommend that. And there's some horror movies. Smile 2 was really good. And if you're into horror, what I call horror porn, terror porn, The Terrifier, it's as bloody and gutty as any movie I've ever seen.
I don't see Duda going for that.
No, I'm not going for that, but it's funny that you mentioned the robot thing because my wife told me last night, she goes, you need to watch this, because her and Avery actually watched it on the weekend and said it was awesome.
It's really, they can do so much with animation sometimes, and they can create this world for us that causes us to forget the world we live in. And for some of us at certain times in life, that's kind of important. That's one of the things I like about movies is being able to escape for a couple of hours, and Wild Robot was one of the great surprises. I thought it was going to be good. I did not know it was going to be as good as it is. I will pick that movie right now to win Animated Picture of the Year for Oscars when it comes out. So,
well,
there's a lot of good stuff.
You've given me something to think about because I need to go to a movie and break that ice. It's been
you do
a long time,
and you can do it.
And I think Conclave could be the answer. But is there any way you think they'd just let me and Debbie be there?
Sure.
Just make a call, Bob.
Hey, you guys want to go? I'll take you. I'd love to take you. Jeff, it's been fun to go to the movies with him in the past. I haven't had the chance to do it. We've done other stuff, and I'll be glad to take you. And it's just,
well, let me get with my wife on it.
Movies. Okay, get with her, and we'll see what we can do. And
we'd have to bring Misty.
Go Tennessee. And I'm still at the place where I'm saying go Tennessee, Bob.
I think I'm probably losing it, but that's okay.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably.
You think it's more than probably?
I'm not going to say that out loud, but of course I do. But I would never admit
someone
that.
Told me I can send it to you, Bob, but someone told me today how much that here we are, two guys that are different, but how much respect I have for you. And I told him, I said, Bob, he's a great guy. You have a lot of respect in this community, and you're owed it. You're owed the respect that you're given, and anytime, movie, dinner, whatever.
Duda just took off his headset. He didn't want to hear that. We'll make it happen. We'll go to dinner at some point, and perhaps a movie. I don't want to commit to the movie because
Bob doesn't commit very well.
Well, I did go to a soccer game.
Yeah, and it took you 7 years.
Yeah, but I stayed for half of it.
You did.
I saw 3 goals scored.
Should be happy.
Well,
anything else, Mike? Holidays coming up? Any holiday movies that intrigue you?
Red One. It's kind of like a Santa Claus movie that has The Rock, and I think it has success written all over it. I'm really looking forward to it. So I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but Red One, he's basically given duty to protect Santa Claus. He's kind of like the Secret Service for Santa Claus, and it looks like a lot of fun. So
it sounds like a tall task.
The other one, the best Christmas pageant ever. For those that are not aware of that story, it's coming out. The Manigault Theater in Greenville, South Carolina. I got to play the part of one of the Manigault children, or not Manigault children, one of the children in the movie. The best Christmas pageant ever. I think that's going to be a big hit as well because it's such a good story about the Herdmans. That's what it is. It's the Herdmans. So,
Mike, have you watched Matlock yet?
Oh, I love it. Kathy Bates. I heard you say something about my opinion. She is one of the great actresses, and I would go so far as to say she may be the top underrated actress of our time. She is so good, and she's got cojones. Do you remember? I can't remember the name of the movie where she's in the hot tub naked, nude, at her age, the way she's built, and she's just.
I think it was What About Schmidt, wasn't it, with Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, that's correct. And she goes out and gives her parts and her characters the fullest of her ability. And man, I don't think I've ever seen a Kathy Bates movie that I did not thoroughly like. And in Matlock, the only complaint I have, she's too good for just television. She's done the American Horror Story series and stuff, but she needs to be back in movies and them boxing the box office.
Yeah, but go in and do a series. You're going to win an Emmy, and you it's so good. She's so good, and she's going to win the Emmy, and it's not going to be close. And any other actress who's in television right now has to just say, "Well, we'll get them next year." Hopefully, Matlock's one and off.
I don't think they'll be one and off unless they don't want it. She just doesn't want to do it.
Well, they do have that underlying premise. I don't know how long they can drag that.
Well, that's true. I don't know if they'll just finish it at the end of this year or tie it into doing another year.
You never know.
You never can tell.
Hey, Mike, go take care of your pup. We appreciate your time always. We'll talk to you soon.
There's somebody at the door, so she's a good watchdog, so I'll check it out. Thanks, Bob. You guys take care.
All right. There's Mike Furches. A good active pop culture segment today.
It was.
We covered a lot of ground.
As usual. Like, come on. Figure it out. I'm here.
Oh, now.
That's what happens when I'm here.
Really? You're that confident in yourself?
For a lot of times, once in a while.
So what do you guys have to say about Shocker basketball? I was impressed. It's been a while since they had a guy who could put up 30, and I thought Hill was going to be more of a true point guard distributor. I was a little bit taken aback and surprised by his offensive capabilities. And they made a bunch of threes. They cut out their turnovers. They put up 91 points. Pretty good opener.
Yeah, it was a good opener. As usual, it's one game. I'd like to see. Now, normally, if we're talking 10 years ago, you have an idea going into the season because you've seen all these guys play for a couple years together. The problem now is that these guys, they've basically played one game. A bunch of guys that have been transferred in. They do have some guys back. I understand that. But I want to see a little bit more. And as Jeff and I said yesterday, it was still a very good start to the season. It's a good win on the road.
They are set up to have a good year with all these seniors.
Yes.
This was not by accident, right?
Well,
there was a purpose to this. We gotta get fans back to us. We need to have a team that gives us a hook, that causes people to want to come see us. And the best way to do that is keep our seniors from last year, the juniors that are now seniors or fifth-year seniors or what. I'll be so glad when we get past this extra COVID year and we can get back to 4 years of eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
But let's hit the transfer portal hard and bring in some more seniors. So we got a team full of seniors who are experienced. I think they're primed for a pretty good year. Does that mean I think they're going to the NCAA tournament or contend for an American Athletic Conference championship? I don't know yet, but I think you can't dismiss either of those.
No, I don't think you can dismiss either one. I'm not saying that, not at all. It's just it's early.
Sure, it's early.
Was it a good showing? Absolutely, it was.
And again,
it was fantastic.
I'm not overreacting to one game. I'm saying that this team was built to win.
Well, you can say a lot of teams are built to win.
No.
And they win one game to start with, and then they don't. I'd like to see this team for 7 or 8 games. Okay. 7, 8 games.
And
I hope they're 7-1.
In your normal situation, I'm with you.
In a
if you
normal
got a bunch
situation.
of freshmen and sophomores that haven't had a lot of experience, I'd buy into what you're saying. This team is loaded with seniors.
Yes.
Players who have all kinds of experience at the Division I level. I'd be really disappointed if they don't contend in the American, if they don't make themselves a factor potentially as an at-large or even a conference champion. I'm standing by this. You and Jeff are both, well, let's wait and see.
No, you're talking about
you and Jeff.
No, you calm down for a second. You said to get fans back in and get people excited again, yes, you have to win, and you have to do it right away. But here's the problem then. They got all seniors, so they all leave. So then what happens next year?
You get more.
They just go. So this is going to be the trend.
This is the way it works now.
I know. I don't like it, but I do understand that that's the way it works. Now, my question would be, do the fans like that?
Don't know.
Do they like
winning?
In? Of course, everybody likes winning.
If you win, they like it.
Don't you get to know the players and watch them for a while instead of just going to a few games and then you go back the next year and like, who are these guys?
No.
No?
I'm not in this day and age of college athletics.
Oh, you can't in this day and age in college athletics. That doesn't mean you like it.
It means
as a fan.
It means you better learn to like it as a fan. At the Division I levels of men's basketball and football, you better learn to like it because this is how it is.
I know it is. I'm not disputing that.
And if you win, the fans will come.
Yes. The answer to that question.
It's not about program building.
Yes.
It's about team building. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
It's disappointing in my eyes, but I understand that is the way it works. I'm not an idiot.
I'm not saying I'm not giving my stamp of approval, but if Paul Mills is able to build a good team year in and year out, fans will respond. Program, thing of the past.
Yeah, it's gone. Programs are gone, I think, because all these kids can just leave whenever they want. And that was the one thing I liked about college. You commit to something, you go and do it,
You like a fantasy draft, don't you?
And
you look forward to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what this is now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantasy draft every year.
Fantasy.
People like that.
Well, some do, some don't.
You'll learn to like it.
Oh, I will,
yes,
will I?
You will.
Are you honestly sitting there
I do
telling
believe
me?
You'll like it.
Well, okay, well, let's give it some time and see what happens, I guess. That's really all I can do.
It's all incumbent on winning.
Unfortunately, yeah, you're probably right. And I don't like to admit that you're right.
As I've said, Mike Furch is what he's calling me, the saint of Wichita or something.
Jeez, I don't think it was that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. You're correct.
I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it was some sainthood thing, though, right?
Well, we were talking about the Pope, and
you came up.
My name came up.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break.
How did I miss that?
So much more fun to do this show with me.
Good gracious.
We'll come back in a minute. We'll carry on whatever conversation we're doing. Don't forget to give us a call on our hotline, 869-1240. That's IHOP, where they have a special each night, Monday through Friday, for $6. Your favorite specials available at IHOP. Back in a minute.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
Here's KU Pat.
Hey, guys. Believe it or not, I don't have any sports-related question, but Duda, this is for you, and I'm dead serious. How tough would it be to move to Canada? After last night's results, I can't stay in this country, and if it is not difficult to get into Canada, where would you recommend I go?
Just tell them you know Duda.
Yeah, they'll let you in, or they'll throw you in jail. It's a 50-50 shot, Pat. So, I mean, flip a coin, see what happens. But if you want to go somewhere, go to Vancouver Island with Victoria, or I prefer the western side, obviously, because that's where I'm from. The Calgary area is awesome. It's right beside the mountains. Those would be the places I would
Or you
go.
might go 75 miles to the east of Toronto and have a big league baseball team to follow and an NBA team.
You could. CFL.
Yeah, why not? And a NHL, obviously.
And a Major League Soccer team out there.
Toronto would probably be, if I were contemplating the move, that would probably be my first choice. Although the western part of Canada sounds intriguing too.
Yeah, I think it'd be a little more laid back. You still have all that stuff. Calgary has the same thing. You got a hockey team, you got a football team. Although
but you don't have an NBA or an MLB team.
No, you don't. But
yeah.
You'll get every game on TV, so you'll be just fine, and you'll save a lot more money.
How brutal are the winters near Calgary?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. They're not great.
Yeah.
So go to Victoria. If that's where you're looking for weather-wise, go to Victoria because their winters.
No hockey team there.
Their winters aren't that bad whatsoever.
Well,
so that's where I would tell you to go with the parameters you're setting on me here.
Will I still be able to watch my Jayhawks?
No, heavens no.
Oh, yeah. You can get all different kinds of cable stuff to watch whatever you want.
Not
a problem. They probably got a KU channel up there. Who knows?
Well, I didn't mean to get political, but I don't know how I'm going to, all of us are going to survive the next 4 years. But anyway, I appreciate your input, Duda.
Anytime.
Thanks, Pat. We appreciate the call. 869-1240, the IHOP hotline. As we muddle through Wednesday. Tomorrow it's yours truly and Jeff on the show. And then on Friday, we're expecting the three-man booth with Duda and Jeff and myself.
Uh-oh.
So we always look forward to that.
Those are good times.
Yeah, that's fun.
They're good times. Let's just be honest.
K-State basketball with a win last night. I didn't follow it. Really don't know anything about it. I'll get into basketball here a little bit more as we go along, but I watched the Shockers because that was a legitimate, interesting season opener.
Well, because it was a decent test. It was a good test for them. And on the road, which hadn't been done in what? I thought I heard like over 20 years, them opening up on the road.
Yeah, kind of weird.
So good for them.
But I think
got the win last night, so everybody's happy right now.
I think Paul Mills wanted to see how that team would perform on the road. I'm interested. I'll just say that. I'm interested. I think they're going to have a better year than maybe some expect. But again, that's just my gut feeling.
Well, your gut's right 20% of the time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You never know when you're going to be right about something.
And it's always nice that someone acknowledges when you are, isn't it?
Well, I don't need acknowledgement.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you were searching for it right there, and I gave it to you. So you're welcome.
Kansas has North Carolina.
They got a tough schedule.
Friday night.
We went over their schedule coming up. They got a tough.
That's interesting,
schedule.
Obviously. Then they have Michigan State in the Hall of Fame, whatever they call that thing.
I don't know, but I know what you're saying.
Every year they play it. It's always the same 4 teams. They need to switch that up. It's always Michigan State, Kansas, Duke, and Kentucky. They have Duke. They have Creighton. They have a tough schedule, and then of course the Big 12 is loaded.
They got a tough, and with the Big 12, you always have a tough schedule. So I like them playing all these teams, though. It's way more fun to watch. I'm going to tune in probably to Kansas, North Carolina. I wouldn't tune in to Kansas and Montana State.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to.
Well, I would hope not. But I'm glad they're playing these games. It's way more exciting. Fans love it.
Sure they do.
And you get a good parameter of where you're at as a basketball team. Nothing better. Do it all the time.
Well, we look forward to it. Trying to look for some other games of interest this week and this weekend. And North Carolina, Kansas is head and shoulders above anything else. But we'll get into some things.
What are we getting into?
I'm trying to find a game I want to see.
You're probably going to have a tough time.
Tennessee, Louisville coming up Saturday. That's somewhat interesting.
Is Louisville still relevant as
relevant?
It used to be? Yeah.
Arkansas, Baylor coming off they got.
What happened there?
Gonzaga's really good.
I know Gonzaga's good, but
Auburn, Houston. I hope Houston beats them.
Well, they will.
Within an inch of their lives.
Houston's always good. They got a good team again.
So those are some of the early season matchups, but we're still in the thick of college football, the playoff and all that stuff, and we'll talk much more about that here coming up on the show tomorrow and Friday. All right, tomorrow night we have a pretty interesting Thursday night football game, the Bengals and the Ravens. That'll catch my attention.
Yes.
Bengals haven't had a good year, but you still feel like that's a team that could make some noise.
Well, they still can. They got the pieces, they got the parts for it. It wouldn't surprise me if they go into Baltimore and beat Baltimore. Baltimore's shown that they can be beat. What are they, 5-3 this year? They've looked good in their wins. They look bad in their losses. I think this will be a little bit closer game than everybody thinks. It'll be closer than the 7-point spread I think it opened up at.
Well, that's certainly a game we'll look at picking coming up tomorrow when we make picks. Elsewhere, you've got a very interesting game with the Steelers going to Washington. That one really jumps off the page because both of those teams are better than we thought they'd be, especially Washington.
Yes.
They're a home favorite in that one. That is a good game.
Yeah, and the Steelers, look, Justin Fields went in and did a good job. Russell Wilson's come in and looked really good. The Steelers are 6-2. But are we really surprised? Tomlin doesn't lose. He doesn't have a losing season. I'm not.
Yeah,
surprised.
but they're usually.
Am I surprised? Maybe they're 6-2 and not.
Lately, they've
5-3?
hovered around 9-8, 10-7.
With nobody though.
I think 6-2 is a little bit of a surprise.
But they hovered around there with nobody. They had nothing. They had no offense whatsoever. They haven't had a quarterback since Roethlisberger, and yet they still seem to keep going. Now they've got an upgrade, and Russell Wilson is not the Russell Wilson that we used to watch 10 years ago, but he's still very serviceable in that offense.
Yeah,
and
he'll be
they
all
always
right.
have a good defense.
I hope Washington beats them.
What? Why?
Because I've kind of gotten on the Washington thing.
I hope Pittsburgh beats them.
Really?
Yes. I haven't got on to Washington yet.
Why?
I like them. I mean, I got Jaden Daniels in our fantasy draft. He's been great, but I've not hopped on to Washington yet. I much prefer the Steelers over Washington.
Well, I'm hopping on.
Well, I'm hopping on the Steelers, so we
Good,
can
I'll
have a
bet
battle. We'll battle it out, and I hope we'll be picking that game too. And I know where you're going, so I'll just gain some more ground.
I don't know where I'm going. Just because I like them doesn't mean I'm going to pick them.
Wow.
And then we've got Denver visiting Kansas City. And Kansas City never blows anyone out anymore. They're an 8-point favorite. We know Max will pick Denver. And maybe he'll be right. He did get it right last week. Everybody did except me. But I only put a point on Kansas City. I don't know what they're magical. They've got some voodoo going or something. Because they win regardless of who plays well. It's kind of eerie.
Well, we talked on the show yesterday a little bit about you watch them and you're like, okay, what's missing? Because there's something missing with this team. Yet they've won 14 in a row. But if you were to watch them, you'd say, oh, how have they won 14 in a row? Because somehow every game is close. It's always right there. But if you get the ball into Mahomes' hands at the end of the game, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win that game.
Here's where the Chiefs are superior to everyone. They have a good defense. They have an elite quarterback. They have a good receiving core. They have a very good offensive line. They have still a very good secondary. So even when certain aspects of their game are subpar, they got so many good parts to their team that they pick them up.
Yeah, but
it's always something with the Chiefs. They win.
I agree. That's what we're saying. But their defense did not play that well.
But the offense picked them up.
Exactly. I mean, Tampa Bay had, until the last drive of the game, Tampa Bay had 2 completions to wide receivers. 3.5 quarters, they went with 2 catches by their wide receivers, and yet they were still in that game. I thought the Chiefs' defense would have destroyed Baker Mayfield. They only got to him twice. But like you said, then the offense decides to put up some points and put up 30. So when the offense, it's uncanny how when the defense isn't quite there, the offense picks it up. When the offense isn't there, the defense picks it up. You'd think this trend would have to stop at some point if you're only having one work most of the time. But they seem to get it done. I don't know. Andy Reid's a genius. You got Patrick Mahomes on one side. You got Chris Jones on the other side. They can all make plays whenever they need to, and they seem to do it at the right time. There's really not much you can say other than they're just a really good football team that knows how to win.
They got everything covered. And on a night when the offense may not click, the defense does. And if the defense struggles, the special teams come through. And it's just they're so well built, constructed. Brett Veach is a superior general manager. Andy Reid's a superior coach. Their personnel is top-notch. And I wouldn't pick against them winning the Super Bowl again.
I don't know. I think they got, as far as I'm concerned, they have the best chance, but it's tough to take them over the rest of the league. If you're going to make a bet right now, are you taking the Chiefs or the field?
Right now, they're home field advantage throughout, my friend. And last year, they weren't. And
they were on the road the whole time.
That didn't bother them a bit.
No.
In fact, they played their best football in the playoffs.
Look, I'm kind of hoping they three-peat. I really am. I don't know. You know, if you look at if you look in the AFC, Baltimore obviously is a team that's going to come up. But who else has looked really good this year?
And Baltimore's really good at times, but they've stumbled.
But if Lamar's not playing well and the offense isn't clicking, like we were just talking about with the Chiefs, the defense isn't really stepping it up at the right time.
They're 6-3.
They're a good team.
They're a good team. Houston's a good team. Buffalo's a good team. Pittsburgh's a good team. The Chiefs are a all-time team.
That's just it. It's the Chiefs.
Unless we get Detroit, Kansas City in the Super Bowl, it'll be disappointing.
And I think Detroit comes out of that other. Detroit's playing well.
That's what we got to have.
I'd love to see that.
It's clear cut.
I'd love to see it.
Now Washington's sneaking up, sneaking in there.
They're sneaking in there, but they're not.
They're sneaking in there.
They're not at Detroit's level right now. I don't even know if they're at Philadelphia level right now.
Philadelphia.
When you got to go wrong with Philadelphia?
You kidding me?
Philly's not a bad team.
They play at Philly next Thursday night.
That's the Thursday night game?
Yes.
Well, then that'll be a doozy. Good. Two good Thursday night games. They still have
Philadelphia at home coming up on the 22nd of December. Pittsburgh, Philly, Dallas, Tennessee, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Dallas. So they still have Dallas to play twice, Philadelphia to play twice. Interesting. Very interesting.
They are a lot better than.
Unfortunately, they don't play on Thanksgiving.
Who plays on Thanksgiving? Do you got it up there by chance?
Stand by, would you?
I'll stand by. I'm sure Detroit plays on Thanksgiving because they always play on Thanksgiving. Who else? Is it Dallas that always plays on Thanksgiving?
I have to find it here. If you'll be a little patient.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there.
Chicago, Detroit. That's the early game on Thanksgiving Day. Then you got the Giants and Cowboys. I wouldn't walk across the street to watch that.
You know what? That works perfect. You have to get together with the family. You have a great big meal. You take a nap during the second game. And what's the late game?
You're not going to like it either.
Oh, no.
Dolphins, Packers.
Oh, jeez.
It's a terrible. It's not a good schedule.
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, Dolphins.
The combined record of the four teams in the late game is 13 and 21. Four teams in the late games, 13 and 21. I don't need to see that.
Well, I definitely don't need to watch Cooper Rush, who's going to be the Cowboys quarterback for the next 4 weeks.
I don't need that at all.
That's that game. And the Giants. The Giants are bad. They're just bad. At least you got Tua and Hill. You got Jordan Love on the other side. I can watch that game. That one could be a high-scoring game.
Thanksgiving morning, we have Minnesota, Wichita State down in Florida in that tournament. We've got some other fairly interesting college basketball games, but none that really. Purdue, North Carolina State. That's much better than the middle game in the NFL.
I wish the Shockers were playing at 2 in the afternoon instead of 11. That'd be great.
I'll probably go with the Shockers.
Well, I'll probably watch the Shockers too because that first game usually doesn't kick off till 12:15ish.
Yeah, 11.
I'll watch the first.
It's 11 o'clock.
I'll watch the first half of the.
It's 11 o'clock.
What, the football game?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, I'll flick back and forth, depending on where I'm at.
Well, it depends on how much food you got in front of you.
No, I'll get a tray table. I'll just go sit in front of the TV. What?
I want you to interact with some of the relatives.
It's great because I sit and watch football, and everybody comes in and sits down for a while, and we chat. And Then they go to the kitchen or the dining room.
That's beautiful.
Then they come in and chat. I end up talking with everybody. And I'm easy to find if you have to.
See, I don't know that I'd talk if I'm really into a game.
Oh, you got in between plays. You got commercial breaks. You got lots of time.
Yeah, that's true.
You got tons of time. It's great. Works out perfect. Then I can have, if I'm in the big chair, I can have a nap.
I think Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. And not just for the food, but it's just a good holiday. You know, it's a time to reflect a little bit. It's you get that Friday off normally. Now, when I was working at the Eagle, I always had to go cover a football game on Thanksgiving weekend and often on Thanksgiving Day. But I don't have that responsibility anymore.
Well, you're lucky.
It's kind of fun now.
A lot of us have to work on Friday.
You got to go to work on Friday. I used to have to.
I'll go in Friday morning, guaranteed. We won't have, after Thanksgiving, we'll go to 6-day weeks.
Well, there you go.
No. It's a lot of early mornings.
Well, you're up for it.
Be starting at 2:30 some days.
You're up for it.
Wait till I get on this show after 3 days of getting up at 2:30 and going into work.
Yeah.
You want to see grumpy Canadian guy, you'll get him.
Max, play the damn music. Aren't there days like that where...
There's so many days like that.
Where you just...
You want to be done with everything.
You're struggling to get to the end of something. And not that we're not putting our A game out there for you today. I mean, I don't know that I could be better.
I'm running at about a B minus.
Well,
I'm on the struggle bus.
I'm like the Chiefs defense. I picked you up.
God, did I set that up for you or what? So disappointed in myself right now.
I can understand.
Yeah, I bet you can.
Anyway, we appreciate Katie Galligan for being on from Shocker Volleyball. George Dickinson from the band Hotel California. We've got a bunch of really interesting high school games, and we'll get into those tomorrow with Jeff. We'll make our weekly picks. I'm coming off a 1-7 week. I can't get the mojo going this year.
No? Well, you guys got yappy with me, and so I just figured, wow.
Yeah, you're so good.
I'm going to start.
By the way, Jeff still leads.
Yeah, but didn't want to get ahead by 40 points this early and it be done.
Right.
How boring is that?
You've been so good in the past.
You want me to start? You want me to just get away?
Yeah, go 8-0 this week.
No, it's going to take about a month, and you guys won't be able to catch me.
There you go. We look forward to it.
Mark it down.
All right, thanks for listening. Thanks to Max Power back in the studio. We'll be back tomorrow.